is Osteo Knits. This is a fiber crafting, whatever madness pops up in my head YouTube channel. Predominantly knitting and to a larger degree spinning now. I am a week late recording and posting this. I actually did record when I originally scheduled last week, but unfortunately by the time I came to record, I was in a bad mood and it showed in the recording, and that's just not the energy I want to bring to this. So for a start, feeling better. It's a Monday afternoon. Yeah, let's do this. So if you followed along in this journey, if you've followed my social media at all, I've talked about how I'm approaching my crafting this year to try to calm down the squirrel brain. I am trying to limit myself to 3, sometimes 4 projects that I focus on every month. It has been a good approach. I'm happy with that approach. I feel like I'm making progress on things. I feel like I have less decision fatigue in trying to decide what I'm going to work on day to day, because it's one of those 3. Which one of those do I feel like? I don't even have to think about any other projects I have ongoing or any other projects I have planned. Yeah. So, for the month of June, my 3 focus projects were, so my whip that I was bringing in from May were the Summer Solstice socks by Ellie Putz. I started the Lawrence sweater by Lily Kate Makes, or Lily Kate France, depending where you're looking her up. And my ongoing scrappy project is my book shawl. So I did finish the Summer Solstice socks in time for Summer Solstice. Perfect, exactly as I had planned. Not that it was cool enough to wear them, but hey, I have them. So here they are. So this is a pattern by Ellie Putz. There's a combination of different lace patterns in here. So there's 2 ongoing patterns in there, one that's larger down the middle of the sock. The yarn I used is Monster Cookie by Camp Fiber Yarns. This was fairly deep stash for me. I did the FLK heel, although I forgot to do the stockinette beginning. Oops, that's fine. The pattern called for a star toe. I knitted up on the first sock, didn't like it, ripped it back, and just did my regular wedge toe. Your results may vary. Perhaps you love a star toe. I found it just doesn't fit my foot well. I do have a very wide foot, so that might be what's going on there. Anyways, easy to adjust and fix to your liking. More socks to the collection. The book shawl, I did actually work on it this month. Not a lot, but I did a little bit. I didn't bring it in because it's just, I'm still continuing along the I-cord border. I'm almost done one side of the 3 sides. It's slow going, it's a little tedious. It's perfect for if I'm watching a show, but I've had other projects that I'm just more excited about. It's a scrappy project. I know it's going to be a long-term thing. That's okay. It's there for when I want it. But the other thing I worked on was my Lawrence sweater. So I've mentioned before that I am a big fan of Lily Kate's designs. This is the 4th of her designs that I knit. I had previously done the poisoned apple top I tested the Tonight top and I tested the Calm Night cami. Lily Kate is the queen of puffy sleeves. The Poison Apple had lovely puffy sleeves, and the Lawrence sweater also does. So here is my Lawrence sweater so far. You can see this glorious, huge puffy sleeve here. Okay. I'm knitting this out of the Estelle Merino Alpaca yarn in the color Plum. And there's such depth to it. It's not coming across, I don't think, quite as well here. But within that purple shade, there's little flecks of pink and blue. Not bad for 1 month. So I've not finished the body yet. I'm about just under the bust region. I did the collar. It's a rolled collar. I've done one whole sleeve. And I've started the second sleeve. The sleeve was a bit of an adventure. Not really the sleeve, actually. The cuff. This here is my fourth and final attempt at the cuff. First, I followed the pattern. It didn't necessarily recommend to go down a needle size. It just said you can if you want to. So I went ahead. I tend to be a slightly tight knitter. So, okay, I went ahead. I did the ribbing with the same needle size as the rest of the body. It was way too loose. Okay, ripped it back. Did it again, one needle size down. Still too loose. Ripped it back, went down 2 needle sizes. Still too loose. So I ripped it back again and pulled out some knitter math. So I measured the circumference of where I wanted to sit. So I wanted to sit just above my elbow. And then I looked at my gauge in the ribbing, multiplied those 2 numbers, so by inch, and I ended up cutting down, so I did an extra round of decreases, cutting the stitch number by 14 stitches, I believe. And then, to be extra safe, I did the ribbing 2 needle sizes below. That's also the gauge I had measured to get by number. And now it fits just how I want it. Not squeezing tight, so you can see it's still fairly loose, but it's going to gather at that point, and it's going to help emphasize that puff in the sleeve, which, like, that's the star of the show. Have to emphasize the puff, right? Yeah. So, at least now, as I'm going into sleeve 2, I know what I need to do to get the look that I want. So it should be pretty smooth sailing to finish this up. I haven't decided yet how long I want the body to be. There's 2 options for this sweater. I have done, so one option included waist shaping or body shaping, which I did do. The other option has this pattern in the ribbing that gradually gets wider as you get closer to the bottom of the sweater. I think I want to do that, but I've seen a lot of people who made the sweater said that following the measurements ended up too short. So I'll deal with that once I'm done the second sleeve, but I figure with all the other elements done now, I can try it on as I go and get a good idea as to how it's going to fit, how I want it to sit. I imagine this being part of my work wardrobe, so I don't want it to be super cropped. It's not my preference anyways, so yeah. I have a vision of where I want it to be. It's just a bit of try it on, knitting and whatnot, to see how to get there. And clearly, I don't have a problem with ripping it back if it doesn't go as planned. Okay, so that brings us to July. Yes, we're already a week into July. So this will be my whip project for the month of July. I'm so close to finishing it. Partly because this is worsted weight, and I think the thickest weight of yarn I've worked with so far this year until this was sport. So it is knitting up so fast. It's very fun. I love the design. The pattern's well written. This yarn is just, I want to cover it myself in it, despite the fact that we've got, or had, I don't know, the weather's crazy. We've had heat waves. It's been back and forth. I did take a bit of a hiatus during the hottest days, but I'm not particularly uncomfortable working on this. It is hot when I try it on, but yeah, it is not like the summer. I decided maybe it would be a good idea to knit a mohair sweater in the summer. No, bad idea. Don't do that. No. So yes, Laurenson sweater, absolutely love it. You may need to play around with the stitch count on the sleeves if you attempt it yourself. But hey, you've been warned now, it's not a big deal. Do the math yourself. The scrappy project, again, will be my book shawl. My new cast on is a test knit for Ariana Frasca. It is the black bat, and I am doing the blouse version. You can also do a dress. And I'm knitting it using, so these are flakes from the Frosted Stitch. So colors that don't turn out exactly as planned. Krista calls those flakes because they're unique like snowflakes. So these are the two, one of each set. So you can see that they're related. There are some slight differences in the color. But these were prototypes to the color that actually ended up being Black Bat, and that is an upcoming color in the Botanical Garden collection. The design itself is really beautiful. It's really unique. So I have just started it. So here is our collar with the picot trim, and there will be an opening right here at the chest. Picot trim will be at the bottom of that opening. Then we have stockinette, and the sample at least has ribbing quite high up on the body and has a cropped fit. So I've just started to do that separation for the opening, but you can see how well those two color lots are blending here. It's a little bit awkward because right now I'm knitting flat, so I'm having to knit 2 rows of the same color before I can switch. I can't wait to join in the round so I can do some helical knitting. That is my preferred way to alternate skeins. I've used it in several projects now. It is seamless. You don't see where you pick up or where you drop the color. It's, once you wrap your head around it, it's pretty intuitive and simple to do. So yeah. Anyways, it's so moody and beautiful. You can see why I had to pick up these flakes when they were in her shop, but now I feel like I need a sweater quantity of Black Bat when it comes out, because this is where I live. This is my happy place. First time I knit any of Ariana's designs, she's got some beautiful ones. One thing I absolutely love is that she's got a very generous period. Oh, well, compared to other tests, it's a nice long period to test this design. I guess part of it is for those who are making a dress, that's quite a lot of knitting to do, but it's almost 3 months, which is really nice. It's very refreshing. I can't even say how often I don't bother to apply for a test for a garment if it's 4 weeks, maybe for a tank, but it's not necessarily easy to finish a sweater in a month, especially for larger sizes. So I would very much like to see more designers have extended test periods like that. So yes, I don't know why I decided it would be a good idea to have 2 garments on the go this month, but it's what I did. Too late now. Oh, perhaps I should show. Look at this cool bag I have. Just one more chapter. Skeletons and books. It's 2 of my favorite things. This is a out of print tote bag. I have a couple others. They have polka dots, like Edgar Allan Poe dots, and I have another one that's like those old library checkout cards. Yeah. Love these, and I love that Chapters carries them now, so I don't have to order them from the website. So that is what I plan on working on for the month. There's also been, of course, some spinning. Tour de Fleece started June 29th. I'm not even going to pretend that I fully understand how Tour de Fleece works. It is my first Tour de Fleece as a spinner, but at least the goal that I have set for myself is to spin in one way or another for like 15 to 30 minutes every day. So Tour de Fleece started when I was actually on a little trip. So I brought with me, as I knock things over, I brought with me my new Turkish spindle, which I got as a birthday present. Here's my spindle and what I've got so far. So I worked on this spin while I was traveling. Just some mystery fiber that I got in a grab bag from Art by Anna. And I've been having a great time spinning this up. I think this is my new favorite spindle. Apologies to my drop spindle, but first I love the little turtle cop. Not that mine is the most precise and beautiful. I love how portable it is, and the fact that I can take this apart and have a center pull ball. All wins in my book. I've also been spinning on the wheel. So these I finished before Tour de Fleece started. Believe I was working on this when I last recorded. So these are the result of a combo spin. I had 2 different colors from Sweet Georgia in the Corriedale. Absolutely loved working with the Corriedale. So I broke up, I had 2 braids of one color and 1 braid of the second color. I tore them up, put them in a bag, and just randomly grabbed bits as I was spinning. I spun 2 bobbins and then plied them all together. and in total I ended up with about 465 yards of fingering weight yarn, and I'm just so pleased with how this turned out. I love the barber pulling, and we also have bits where the colors blended. It's the thinnest I've gotten in a spin, and I'm really getting better at my consistency. Also, this is like absolutely magical. Maybe I sold my soul to the devil, I don't know. When I applied the 2 separate bobbins, I had maybe 2 feet extra on one of the bobbins. Like, how did I manage that? I did estimate how much I needed for one bobbin versus the other. I didn't weigh them. I just kind of counted the sections and split them in 2, and it worked. So yeah, I'll probably never manage to do that again, but that was pretty cool. After that spin, I started on a merino braid from Fiber Imp that I had shown in a previous episode. It's called Thunderstruck. It's got a light blue with a dark blue and a bit of kind of purpley, sort of lavenderish. So I spun that up. It was really slippery, so I decided to spin from the fold. First time doing that, and continuing with firsts, I chain plied it. I had previously played around with little bits of chain plying, but this was my first time doing a full skein. So this is the result. It's kind of a worsted Aran weight, and I think I have about 160 yards or so. I have it written down somewhere. I've now started up a little notebook where I'm keeping track of all of these things, because even though I did measure, I didn't write it down somewhere and then didn't remember for all of my spins. So I've been remeasuring them and checking that out and writing it down, so now I know. When I eventually get around to knitting these up, I'll have that information ready for me, which that will be the next kind of challenge. Now I'm accumulating all of these skeins of hand spun. I'm going to need to knit them. Okay. So this, not quite totally finished. I had a scrappy spin on my drop spindle. So I had previously shown the brown with the yellow. That was the first scrappy spin. The second one I was calling my mermaid unicorn spin. Mostly greens and purples and whatnot. So finished spinning that on the drop spindle. I decided to ply it on my wheel, and I did that last night actually, so it is still on the bobbin, but how cool is that? It turned out really good. It's around a fingering weight. Obviously I don't know how much yardage I have yet, but thought I'd bring the bobbin anyways. So probably tonight I'll skein it up, give it a good wash, whack it, prepare it, and see what I've got. So very excited to see the finished product. There's some interesting combinations of colors. As I was plying it, there was a lot more green than I was expecting, which isn't a bad thing. I love green, and it'll probably make it a little more cohesive, but fun little spin. So now my drop spindle is empty. You saw what I have on my Turkish spindle. My wheel, I have the other braid actually from Fiber Imp. This one's called Galaxy. It's purple with some green, some blue, there's kind of orangey bits. It is a merino, flax, and silk blend. I'm spinning that one from the fold as well. It's really interesting, like when I get to those flax bits, it's a little more wiry and spinning up kind of haywire, and I'm just embracing it and going with it. But having lots of fun spinning still. And the whole like Tour de Fleece community is fun to watch, and so much inspiration from people. Yeah, it's fun. It's great. And you'll see, I've purchased more fiber. So getting into my acquisitions, maybe not an excessive amount, hopefully. Of course, I have the latest installment of the Frosted Stitch Botanical Collection. It's a very colorful one this time. So this is the Pride of Madeira. And I'm noticing, as we're getting more of these, quite a few of them go together really well. So I haven't knit anything with any of them yet. I don't have any specific plans, but it will be interesting to see how many of them coordinate and if I can incorporate those into one big project. So when I was in, on my little trip, I went to Hamilton, and we stopped into a little yarn shop, which I've checked it a million times and it continues to escape me. Anyways, cute shop. Often when I'm traveling, I like to pick up a skein of locally dyed yarn. There was a local dyer available there in Hamilton, but ultimately I decided not to go with that one. I would have just picked up a ball of sock yarn, which I have so much of, and something else caught my eye. So I ended up with these three. I know you're seeing the range of colors that I like. The jewel tones are my happy place. Jeweled, dark colors, yeah. So these are 3 skeins from Peace Fleece. They're based in the US, and when I looked a little bit into it, really interesting, their model. So they purchase fair trade the Rambouillet fiber from the Navajo Nation and then make their yarn out of it, and they also sell fiber. So really cool to see that connection with the indigenous peoples and use of, this is American but local fiber, rather than importing from elsewhere. And also a percentage of the proceeds do go to the Navajo Nation. So that's really cool. What really intrigued me, I didn't know all of this backstory when I bought it, but what intrigued me, one, were the colors, but also that it was Rambouillet, which I've not worked with ever, but I have seen it with spinning fiber. I had not ever encountered it in yarn form. And like these colors, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them yet. These are all, it says worsted weight. According to Ravelry, they're Aran weight, but I think I can mix and match these colors, especially for winter accessories. This would be lovely. Some color work. So I got Potterfield Plum. Like, look at those flecks of color. This is gonna be all right. And Patience Blue. This one doesn't have as many of the flecks of color as the other two, but beautiful color. Something I can definitely find a project for. And I've certainly been eyeing some of the fiber on their website. Not that I have any business buying more fiber, as you'll see. So, with Tour de Fleece, apparently a lot of fiber vendors put on promotions and sales. as a fairly new spinner. I don't have a huge fiber stash, so I took advantage of some of these. So, 2 braids from Chaotic Fibers. This one here is a merino cashmere blend, and it is so soft. I am very much looking forward to spinning this up because I imagine it'll be an absolute dream to spin. And my second braid is a merino tencel blend in these beautiful colors. So I might combine these. They are quite complementary. But we'll see what they tell me they want to be once I spin them up. Chaotic Fibers gives the option of having your fiber vacuum sealed for your order. That's what I went with, and I chained these up myself. At one point I went in the wrong direction, but hey, it works. And why not do that when you've got fiber so squishable? It's so easy to do. I also discovered that there is somebody quite local in North Bay that deals with fiber. She also dyes yarn, she sells other crafts, and she does absolutely beautiful bats. So this is Art by Anna, and that's Anna with 1 N. I got 2 of her bats. She was temporarily closing up her shop ahead of a little hiatus for surgery. So here is one of these bats. Oh, you can see the sparkle. We've got a dark base, and we've also got like this teal and like almost a fuchsia red. Oh, it's stunning. I've not worked with a bat yet, but I can't wait to dive into this. My second bat, I went lighter. So we've got a light base with some shades of blue. There's still some sparkle in there. Yeah. And I got a bag of, a grab bag of mystery fibers, because I can't resist them and they're so fun to play with. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. It was nice to take a little mini vacation. I was just away for 3 nights. We had never been to Hamilton, so we went over there, checked out some antique shops. I, of course, had to pop into a yarn store. We bought some coffee, bought some collective arts, drinks and beer, and it was a good little vacation. A nice break before coming back, and now for this past week and the next 2 weeks I'm covering for one of my colleagues in advising undergrads. It's not been too bad, but this is certainly the season where a lot of students are sorting out their schedules for September and encountering some problems, and we need to do some problem solving. Yeah. Haven't done a great deal of reading. I did finish, I had read this sort of thriller book called What Lies in the Woods. That was really fun. I really enjoyed it. Interesting twist on the sort of mystery, murder, crime thing. It is totally fiction. Kept you guessing pretty much all the way till the end. So that was fun. I am still working on the Rue. I've also started a book called Behold the Monster about Sam Little. Yes, I am back to my nonfiction true crime. I couldn't stay away for long. It's It's a large book. There's some fictional bits, but I do very much enjoy how she's giving personality and a backstory and a life to his victims. Far too many accounts in true crime, I feel, kind of glorify the killers and don't necessarily recognize the victims to have been people. Especially often victims tend to be people who live on the outskirts of society in one way or another. Like a lot of Sam Little's victims were sex workers or people living in poverty, people of minorities, and so often police didn't necessarily invest the required energy and effort into helping to resolve those murders, and that's something we see in so many of these cases. Green River, Picton, right? And possibly because they're already vulnerable people in society and the kind of easy victims. Not something that I want. Right? Yeah. Anyways, yes. Clearly these are things that I think of and I consider in my teaching and in my work. So there's a bit of that overlap, and maybe I look at a lot of true crime in a slightly different way because I'm taking that approach, but I don't just read these things as pure entertainment. I do try to look at it from the forensic lens, from a perspective of trying to learn from it. Yes. I'm about not quite halfway through the book. It's a big one. It's like 450 pages. I've had a couple of sessions where I set out on my back deck with some reading and some knitting, and it's been really nice when we have nice weather, when it's not too hot or not raining, which is what we have most of the time. But yes, hopefully by October I'll have finished the Lawrence and sweater. I have very unseasonable knits going on right now, but at least they'll be ready in time for me to wear them in the fall. I don't think I have much else to say. I hope you are all having a great summer, regardless of what the weather is throwing at you. Tell me, do you have any book recommendations? I don't know what I'm going to read once these two books are done, so I'd be happy to check out whatever you recommend. Alright, no cranky pants me. This time around, this was much more relaxed. It feels much better. Yeah, better vibes all around. Excellent. Alright, well, I'll see you again. Well, I won't see you, but you'll see me again in August, and I'll give you an update on how Tour de Fleece went, what I got up to. Yeah. Bye, everyone.